It looks like Kyle Busch is getting more dirt race experience for the Bristol dirt race happens, and DoorDash has officially become an official partner of NASCAR. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. We got a couple of NASCAR stories to discuss here today on the channel. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. Let's start with all the sponsorship announcements that have taken place over the last couple days. Let's jump straight into those first. The first sponsor we're going to actually go ahead and take a look at is the Marwin Sports sponsor that we will see on Corey LaJoie's car at Homestead Miami Speedway. Marwin Sports was last year partnered up with Spire Motorsports last year in 2020, and they have signed a multi-year agreement to become an official partner for their merchandise for that organization for the next couple of years. The car, in my opinion, it looks really, really excellent. It's really cool that Marwin Sports is stepping up to sponsor Corey LaJoie and Spire Motorsports as a whole. I don't know how many races they are going to be sponsoring Corey LaJoie this year. I'd assume they're sponsoring for a few races since they've signed a multi-year agreement. But it is really cool that Marwin Sports, an apparel company, is stepping up to sponsor Corey LaJoie. The car looks really nice, and I can't wait to see this car on the racetrack this weekend at Homestead Miami Speedway. The other major sponsorship announcement regarding cars-wise was Discover Denton, Texas, which is really weird, is going to be sponsoring Tommy Joe Martins at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It's kind of weird that a company from Denton, Texas is going to be sponsoring a team at Las Vegas. You'd think they'd be sponsoring at Texas Motor Speedway. But regardless, it is really cool that Tommy Joe Martins has a new sponsor. I like the colors of this car a lot. I like the blue, like the lighter blue shade of the car. It looks really, really nice. Great to see this, and hopefully this car is able to run up front because Tommy Joe Martins has a lot of bad luck. This guy generally runs top 15, top 20 many races, but then some bad luck hits him and he's never got a chance to win. Regardless, though, I really like this paint scheme a lot, and I cannot wait to see this car out on the racetrack in 2021. On to the next story of today's episode. Tua Tagovailoa is going to be the Grand Marshal for the Dixie Vodka 400 at Homestead Miami Speedway. For those of you who know, Tua Tagovailoa is currently the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, so it makes a lot of sense that he is going to be the Grand Marshal. I expect him to bring a lot of energy for the command. We see some pretty good energy for the command. I think Kevin James had a pretty good command last week, and both the commands we've seen so far up to this point have been really, really good. That's because, you know, he's a quarterback and he's from the Miami area, so of course he's going to bring a pretty good command overall. It's really cool that he's going to be the Grand Marshal for the event, and I can't wait to see what he'll do here at Homestead Miami Speedway. On to the next story of today's episode. We are going to be talking about the Circuit of America's Cup Series title sponsors and the Xfinity Series title sponsors that we are going to see for Circuit of the Americas. The Cup Series title is going to be called the Texas Grand Prix, and the Xfinity Series title is going to be called the Pit Box 250. I think that this is the first time that a Cup Series title has ever been called the Grand Prix. I know that there used to be an ARCA, which is now the ARCA Series, that the Canaan race used to be called the Utah Grand Prix back in 2006 when they called the Utah Grand Prix in the Canaan West or the East Series. Now this is the first time that a Cup Series has a name Grand Prix, and it's definitely really, really interesting. It gives me feels of like IndyCar and Formula One when they have Grand Prix overall. So something really different. I like it, though. The Texas Grand Prix is definitely going to be better than having Echo Park, because Echo Park is the main partner of this race. It would have been really weird if it's like the Echo Park Automotive 250 or whatever the race is. Now, for many of you that don't know, the race is going to be 68 laps and 231 miles. But yeah, I really like the name a lot, the Texas Grand Prix. This is the first, like I said, this is the first time I've seen a Grand Prix in a NASCAR Cup Series event. Really cool sponsor. Can't wait to see it. And can't wait for the race to Circuit of Americas, because we're going to talk about that next as well. Speaking of which, Circuit of America's tire test. We're going to talk about that now, as Chase Elliott, Brad Keselowski, and Mark Truex Jr. will be doing a tire test Tuesday at Circuit of Americas. This is not open to the public. There's one Chevy driver, one Ford driver, and one Toyota driver. 3 drivers have quite a bit of experience and are really, really good at road courses. This basically is the tire test to make sure the track is okay, but I assume that they're going to basically be racing side by side to see how the racing is at Circuit of the Americas, because remember, they're going to be running the full circuit at Circuit of the Americas, the full racetrack, and it's going to be a pretty long race as well. So it's really important they have this tire test. I would assume that for other races upcoming as well, like other tracks that we're going to new, I would assume that they're going to have some tire tests over there as well. It is really cool that they're going to have a Circuit of America tire test. I wish it was open to public, but I expect they'll have some spy shots or some spy cams being able to see. Again, it's really, really cool that they're going to be having a tire test at Circuit of Americas. We might be able to see what the racing looks like. They might be able to post it on social media. I really don't know up to this point, but it is really cool that there is going to be a tire test at Circuit of Americas. Great news to hear and great to see that overall. And now we're going to go into the next story of today's episode. We're talking about fan capacity once again for another upcoming race. We've talked about North Carolina races, and we talked about the Virginia races. Now we're going to go ahead and talk about Darlington. As it was announced early Thursday morning that Darlington is going to have limited capacity for its Mother's Day weekend. Now, the numbers have not been given at this time. I think they're waiting to see where COVID is going over the next couple months. I assume that with Darlington being one of the most well-open states, South Carolina, they never really even close. I assume that the numbers are going to be a little bit higher than other races. We've been starting to see the number of fans increasing in the percentage of capacity races up to about 30%. I would assume Darlington's going to be within that 30% to 40% range for these races. It's really cool, though, that there is going to be fans at the event. So some seats are going to be reassigned and some fans are probably going to end up losing their tickets. But with Darlington being in one of the most well-open states, I would assume that there's a really good chance that we are going to see a lot more fans than other races. I mean, I think they host 40,000 fans overall, 40,000 or 45,000 fans in that general area. So I would assume that there's probably going to be 15,000 or 10 to 15,000 fans that are going to be allowed in the race, which is really, really awesome. It is cool that most of these races are opening up. NASCAR has said that they want to have all the garages stuff open by early to midsummer. Things want to get open really, really quickly. They're trying to get everything back open. But you also have to have health be a major, major important factor to that. It is really cool, though, that there will be fans at the Darlington race, and it's really cool that we'll at least see some fans once again for the Mother's Day weekend. And now we're going to go ahead and get into the first of two major stories of today's episode, as we're going to be talking about Kyle Busch, as he is getting a little bit more experience for the Bristol dirt race that NASCAR will be headed to. Remember, NASCAR is going to be having their first ever, for the Cup Series, the first race on dirt since 1970. So it's been over 50 years since we had a dirt race. And there have been quite a few drivers that have been getting a little bit of experience on dirt, including Kyle Busch, who is going to be racing at the Bristol Dirt Late Model race a week before, and he's going to be a teammate to Jonathan Davenport. Kyle Busch does have quite a bit of late model experience. As a matter of fact, the last time he raced so was in 2012 when he won the Prelude to the Dream. So he's ran many of the Prelude to the Dream events that took place at Eldora Motor Speedway before NASCAR took over that event and named it the Mud Summer Classic. I've been saying this many times again. I think that a lot of drivers are getting more and more experience in different disciplines and in different series. Look at Kyle Busch, look at Joey Logano, Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott is a guy who's been racing in the Rolex 24. He's a guy that's also been racing a lot of dirt race as well. Joey Logano just had a race on a UMP dirt race. He raced that, I think, back at Volusia. So he's had some experience over there as well. And I think as time goes on with other drivers racing in different disciplines, I do think that there will be some pretty good experience overall. As for Kyle Busch's luck at going in this race, I don't know how well Kyle Busch is going to be. I think Kyle Busch, he hasn't raced in this quite some time, but I think he'll be somewhat competitive. He's going to be teammates with Jonathan Davenport, who's a three-time winner in these late model championships. So I do think that Kyle Busch will have a lot of someone to really look up to and someone to really work with as well to get some experience in this dirt model. But it's really cool that Kyle Busch and other drivers are working. And I do assume as time goes on, we are going to see more drivers racing in different disciplines. But yeah, it is really cool that Kyle Busch is going to be running the Bristol Dirt Late Model race. I don't think he's going to win the race. I think Jonathan Davenport's probably the guy to beat for that event. But it's really cool that Kyle Busch is getting some more experience in the Bristol Dirt Late Model race. And hopefully Kyle Busch will be able to contend in that event and get some more experience for the Cup Series race. And I think he could be a lot better than if he just ran the race without some experience before the event. And now we're getting on to the final major story of today's episode, as DoorDash has signed a multi-year deal to become an official partner of NASCAR, growing its presence in the sport to the league level. DoorDash becomes official on-demand delivery platform of NASCAR. Gets rights to activate at 11 venues plus social, digital, MRN, and esports assets. Now, they are going to be an official company that is going to be also sponsoring the iRacing Coca-Cola Series. They will be sponsoring the next upcoming race that takes place. I don't remember what the next race is, but they'll be sponsoring that event as well. DoorDash's president in NASCAR has grown. They came into NASCAR last year to sponsor Bubba Wallace, and they're also one of Bubba's major partners. They started partnering back in August, and they're one of the main sponsors on one of the 2311 race cars, and we've seen that car twice, as a matter of fact, this weekend. But they have grown their presence, and now they are becoming official on-delivery partner of NASCAR. DoorDash is one of the biggest growing, fastest growing companies like NASCAR. They are two of the fastest growing companies. As a matter of fact, I think in one of the charts that came out last year, this was in the top 5, I believe, of fastest growing companies. I think Twitch is number 1 up there, but this is one of the fastest growing companies for Gen Z in my generation as well. It is really important that a company like DoorDash is continuing to brand, and NASCAR will be working to get DoorDash more impressive and more working as well. It is really cool, though, that DoorDash is coming into the sport. A major company like that is coming in to sponsor. I mean, I don't know what other companies eventually are going to want to work with NASCAR and going to want to brand with them as well. Because it's like I said, it's a major company. They're going to be working with major communities and small communities as well to help brand that out as well. It is really awesome that DoorDash is coming into the sport. It's very awesome. Great to see that DoorDash is coming into sport. I'm really, really happy to see him in the sport and welcome DoorDash to becoming an official partner of NASCAR. So, anyway, that is going to be for today's short NASCAR news video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel, notifications so you can be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Links description below for that. And comment your thoughts on today's video. What are your thoughts on DoorDash coming into the sport? Are you really happy that DoorDash is official partner of NASCAR or not? Let me know in the comments below. And what are your thoughts about Kyle Busch racing in the Bristol Dirt Late Model race? And how well do you think he's going to do? Do you think he's going to struggle in that event the week before the Bristol Dirt race takes place? Or do you think he's going to be a fast driver in that race? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you like this YouTube. Can't recommend more of these great videos out to you guys. Do that, I would greatly and truly appreciate it. Anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.